Gold mining. Between the mid and late 1800s, the gold rush, an event in which multitudes of people started moving out west in search of wealth and riches, was booming. Well, Arizona, believe it or not, was part of this boom, and although many were headed out to California, some staked their claim here in these mountains. Prescott Creeks, the Superstition Mountains, the Mogollon Rim Canyon walls, and even the Colorado River that carves out the Grand Canyon have all been known for successful prospecting. Fast forward nearly a couple hundred years, and the gold rush and the days of mining for riches are a memory and relic of the past. Today, we are looking for riches, but a different kind that were overlooked during this gold rush. We are prospecting a different kind of gold, a more rare kind. The mining days may be over, but there's still gold in these creeks. Today, we're panning for gold, one of America's rarest trout, the elusive and wild Gila Trout of Arizona. Native to Arizona and New Mexico, the Gila Trout has a history marked by decline, reintroduction, and recovery. These fish, once thriving in headwaters and high mountain streams in both states, hit a major decline in population in the early 1950s due to habitat loss and degradation from mainly wildfires and logging forestry. And non-native trout. Non-native or invasive trout and other fish pose a threat to the Gila trout by overcompeting for food and habitat, as well as hybridization, leading to reduced genetic impurity of pure strain Gila trout. Other factors like cattle grazing, water quality, and overfishing and mishandling fish also take their toll on fish populations, especially in the summertime. By 1967, Gila trout were listed in the Endangered Species Act as such, but due to the hard work of conservationists and anglers, the Gila trout got downlisted to threatened in 2006. Now, in 2025, there are 2 streams in Arizona, open as recovery streams that offer immediate catch and release opportunity of Gila trout. They persist in fragmented populations, with ongoing recovery efforts focused on stream restoration and habitat protection. This is Sam. He works for Arizona Fish and Game around Arizona's native trout and chubs. Today, we're hiking into one of these creeks before sunrise to sift the creeks for these treasured fish and hopefully find some gold. Now, I visited this stream a while ago when I was first starting my fly fishing journey, and honestly, didn't have a clue about what I was doing. That trip resulted in many extra miles hiked than needed, no fish caught or even seen, and the heartbreaking sightings of 3 dead fish. It was a discouraging trip and sad to see our rare wild Gilas in such a state. But hopefully, with Sam showing me the ropes, we'll be able to net one of these beautiful and unique species of trout that are special to Arizona. Our journey begins around 3 in the morning with a dark and peaceful drive up to the rim. Even with being the 4th of July weekend, I was surprised to not see the influx of traffic that the rim usually has. We get to the trailhead, greeted by grazing elk and cows. We put our heads down and start hiking. With our speed and determination, we were able to get to water fairly quickly, and fishable water not much further away. Before we knew it, we were surveying rocks and holes that were likely to hold fish, and began fishing. The Gila trout have a yellow, gold, or bronze-colored body, peppered with small dark spots and averaging around 8 to 11 inches fully grown. In the wild strain creeks, an 8-inch fish has seen it all. In this small water, the fish don't usually get that big, even though it is to catch an immediate release stream. These fish are opportunistic feeders, and according to Sam, will likely stay in the same holes, rock cracks, and tree roots for most of their lives, which I think is pretty interesting. It's kind of like a kid that grows up and never leaves his hometown. Why leave when you have all you need? These fish thrive in the fresh, cold water gushing from the springs near the headwaters of the creek, feeding on the buffet of aquatic and terrestrial insects, and find shelter in the abundant structures of rock holes, tree roots, and fallen logs. Nice. These fish really do have everything they need, not just to survive, but to thrive. It's no wonder that this creek is now considered one of the most successful Gila trout recovery streams.
King, there you go.
Although in a great environment, these fish haven't always had it easy. In 1990, a 24,000-acre wildfire ravaged this canyon, resulting in the loss of 6 firefighters and this population of wild Gila trout, leaving the habitat unstable. Later on, reintroduction efforts were underway, and total closure to the area for several years resulted in naturally reproducing Gila trout, spawning by themselves and creating wild offspring. Today, this creek is one of 2 open recovery streams for these fish, giving anglers catch and release opportunity and the chance to fill out your wild Gila trout in Arizona's Wild Trout Challenge. These rare trout, brought back from the brink of extinction, are a very neat and rich part of Arizona's history.
Right back to his hole.
These fish in these streams have been through so much and are a monument of how important conservation efforts and good management are to protecting and preserving species and habitats alike. With continuing conservation efforts, we can look forward to the future with hope for more recovery streams opening to the public after wild populations of these fish strengthen and multiply and fill back into and extend through their native ranges in the state. If you can, do your part. Leave our public lands better than when you entered it. Respect our wildlife and the regulations set. And, when possible, consider volunteering for Arizona Fish and Game's recovery projects. The Gila trout were actually the first fish that caught my interest of America's wild and native salmonids. These beautiful little fish have led me to some crazy cool places and paved the way for me searching for native trout in other areas outside of Arizona. I'm honestly not really sure where my fly fishing journey would be without the Gila trout.
Miss them?
Yeah. All I know is that I wouldn't have ever tried as hard, which would have never gotten me to research these fish, and I would never have been out in these beautiful wild places, gazing upon all these beautiful and wild fish, Gila trout and otherwise. I thank the Gila trout for its part in molding me into the kind of angler that I've grown to be. And I thank the Lord for using fly fishing as a tool for me to grow and mold me as a person and in my faith. Meeting me where I'm at in these mountains, under these trees, and beside these waters. Isaiah 64:8 says, "And yet, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you are the potter. We are all formed by your hand."